Section 5.3, question E38. I do hope that you can read this when I'm doing smaller text. If you're not getting full screen, let me remind you that in Blackboard, you can right-click on the video link, open in a new tab, and then maximize that instead of opening it inside of Blackboard. If you're on a Macintosh, I forget what the equivalent of a right-click is, but use whatever your alternate clicking method is. Okay, and we have a series of info here about the Dodgers and whether or not they're winning, depending on when they're playing against pitchers of a certain hand. And I thought we might create a quick contingency table here. So let's put win and loss here. And this is right-hand pitcher and left-hand pitcher versus that. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and set it up before I even have the data in there. So equals, and I'm going to use a formula here, sum, parentheses, and then I'm just going to select those two cells. And then what I can do is just drag this across these three, and that'll make sure that each of these three sums up the two cells above it. Similarly, I want to make this the totals of these two. So I'll do that and copy that down. So now each of these is a total, so it's all ready. And we know that the Los Angeles Dodgers had won 54% of their games. So what I'm going to do, and this seems a little strange, but I'm going to say that they won 54 games. Now in order to do that, that would mean that they've played 100 games so far. So let's see, I just ruined my formula there, didn't I? That's okay, we will adjust the formula here in just a second. Okay, so these are the total column, and maybe I'll go ahead and label those here. And just for fun, let's put some grid lines in there. Okay, so notice that I don't really know if the Dodgers have played 54 games, and it really doesn't matter. So everything I'm going to do, I'm going to base on this 100 games, but when we're talking about percentages, the total number of games isn't going to affect our outcome. 100 is very convenient because it allows us to convert that percent into a number. And I had shown in another video how it really doesn't matter. We can do that again. So although this was a good idea to set up the formulas in advance, I think it's not working out real well. So whatever this total losses is will be the total number of games they played, no matter how many it is, minus their total number of wins. In this case, 46. But we have some more info here. We know that the Dodgers won 31% of the games played against left-hand starting pitchers. Okay, so against left-hand, in other words, this is a conditional statement. We're only looking at the left-hand pitchers category here. It says they won 31% of the games played against these pitchers. So we really need 31% of this number. Unfortunately, we don't know what that number is. Let's see. So we need to go back here. 18% of their games had been played against left-hand starting pitchers. Okay, so we know that they had 100 right here. So this would be just 0.18 times this 100. That would give us 18, and then this would just be the difference. So it would be total number of games played minus number of games against left hand would be the number of games against right hand. And actually, while I'm thinking about it, this should have been 54% of whatever their total was. That way, everything's set up now, so if we did change their total number of games, all the percentages would remain the same. Okay, and now we know that they won 35% of the games against left-hand pitchers. So whatever this number is, their win is going to be 31% of this total against left-hand pitchers. And this is going to be whatever the total is minus this number. Okay, this one right here is going to be total losses minus the losses against left-handers. That would give the loss against right-handers. And this would be number of total wins minus number of total wins against left-handers would give you the wins against right-handers. Okay, so we have all of this right here. Now, one thing you may say immediately is, well, how can you win 48.42 of a game? Shouldn't these all be integers? And they should. And if we actually picked the correct number here, it says July 1st. So July 1st would give us May, June, about half the season. So if we played around with this, something between 70 and 90, we probably would find something that worked out exactly in terms of integers, unless they were using a random number generator, which they probably were. The important part is we can get our answer now. So what percentage of the games against right-hand starting pitchers did they win? So we're only looking at this right here, this 65.6, and we want to know the percentage of this over this. So I'm just going to calculate that down here. I'm going to take 38.7636 wins divided by 65, and that would give us 0.59 or 59% of the games against right-hand starting pitchers. So another key part to notice here, notice that we know that they won 54% of their games, but when they play against right-hand pitchers, they won 59% of the games. Of course, they're against left-handed pitchers, they weren't as good. So if you were going to play the Dodgers, you would want to know this information, and if possible, you would probably want to start a left-hand pitcher against them, knowing that they don't do as well against left-hand pitchers. So this is how you would use this kind of data.